Today is Monday, January 2nd, 2017, and I have some great news to kick off your new year. Now, this comes from Europe yet again. We have Italy coming out with stronger restrictions upon travel, stronger restrictions against illegal so-called migrants, many of whom we all know where they come from. They come from the third world. They come from the Islamic world. Now, this comes on the heels of many attacks. We just had the one in Berlin where the so-called migrant drove a big truck through a Christmas market, killing a lot of people, and this is kind of like a series of attacks that have been happening all over the world, really. We had a similar thing happen here in the USA, in Ohio State, in Columbus, Ohio, on a college campus, where a so-called refugee drove his vehicle into a crowd of people and got out and started stabbing people. Now, luckily, I don't think anybody died in that situation except for the individual that was a person that was a terrorist. That situation did not end that bad, but in Berlin, it ended very bad. And also in Turkey, which is not really Europe, but close enough. You're in the former Constantinople, but I digress. You're in Istanbul, and you got a bunch of people that died in the nightclub. Now, this thing, with the Muslim attacks, it's not anything new. We all know it's not anything new. But what is the problem here is Europe's response to it and also the origin of it. But we'll talk about Europe's response. Now, what Italy is doing is kind of counteracting a lot of what the European response had been up until this point. A lot of countries in Western Europe, especially, it just pretty much let these things go unchecked. Look at what's happening in Germany. They're trying to kind of crack down on the migration, the so-called migration now, but at the same time, they're not really being very effective. You saw what happened in Berlin just recently here, just a few days ago. And the key is to keep the people that are coming into your country out. Now, illegal immigration is one thing. That's what they're trying to crack down on right now in Italy and also in other places in Europe. Illegal immigration is one thing, but the migration in general is another thing. Being in the Schengen zone is part of the problem, where you can just have free travel from country to country. If you come from a different place and you have these documents that are fake, it's very hard to track people that come from countries where they purport themselves to be one thing, but they are a different thing. So it's difficult to really kind of put your finger on what's going on, but it's definitely easy to put your finger on what's going on when somebody comes in illegally. If they have no documents and they just kind of hopping the border and doing whatever they want to do, it's very easy to kind of understand what's going on. And a lot of times they're easily identified. People that are kind of on the streets, just roaming around, committing crime, they're very easily identified. And I think Italy is doing the correct thing here. This comes on the heels of Matteo Renzi being ousted. And I'm not really sure what's going on with Matteo Renzi. The media in the West wants to portray Matteo Renzi as like a Donald Trump kind of guy. But at the same time, I've been hearing that he is a liberal, and the person that came in, or the people that came in to oust him, were more conservative. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. If you're Italian, or if you know more about European politics than I do, please let me know in the comments below what's going on with the whole Matteo Renzi situation in Italian politics. Whatever the case may be, it appears as if they're going in the correct direction. And I did a story last year about how they're going to kind of like tighten security right in South Tyrol, which is part of the former Austro-Hungarian Empire, in the northern part of Italy, mostly in the Alps, in between Italy and Austria. Because if you look at a map, there's not much of a geographical difference between the southern part of Germany, Austria right there, right in between Germany and Italy, in the northern part of Italy. At one point, those regions were joined together in the Holy Roman Empire. They were not very far apart. It may have even been joined together during the Austro-Hungarian Empire, not including Germany, of course, but also, obviously including Austria in the northern part of Italy. They were kind of joined together. So those regions right there have a lot in common. And I think they both have a common menace, that in a recent wave of Islamic immigration, so-called immigration, the wave of the Islamic horde pouring into the Western European and Northern European countries as well, Sweden, Denmark, etc. It's a very big problem. And I think that Western Europe is starting to wake up now, and they're doing what Eastern Europe has been doing for quite a while. In Hungary, they have zero tolerance for illegal immigrants. Russia, I don't hear any problems with Russia and illegal immigration. Same thing with Ukraine and other Eastern European countries. Poland, I don't hear anything about that happening over there. So if you can have illegal immigration and the migration crisis from the third world in check in Eastern Europe, you should be able to do it in Western Europe as well. But I think a lot of that comes to changing your foundation upon which you have been able to, build your country, or at least have your country be on right now. Because I don't think the country of Italy and Austria and Germany, Sweden, Denmark, etc., were founded upon the principles of being able to give everything away for free. But I think that has become part of their identity as of late. But that all can be changed. That all can be changed as long as you're able to just to kind of adhere to a certain policy and stick to it. Don't back down. Don't be hemming and hawing and if you don't know what that means, it basically means not really standing upon a principle solidly and kind of wavering back and forth, whether you want to enforce something or whether you don't. If you have illegal immigration laws, enforce them. The same thing should happen over here in the U.S. We allow people from the southern border to just pour into the country, and it's not just Mexicans that come over. People from all over the world come through Mexico to come into our countries. People that want to go to so-called massage parlors that are Chinese, people that come from India, people that come from all, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, etc. People that come to South America and then go to Central America and then work their way into the United States through the southern border. So all borders should be tightened up. All nations should be able to maintain their sovereignty. And at a certain point, if you have no sovereignty as a nation, then what do you have? All you have is a geographical region, and that's it. You have no nation. And a nation with no borders is nothing. It's just a hodgepodge. Then it becomes kind of like a Tower of Babel with a lot of people in one place that have no common language, no common culture. That's called chaos. Multiculturalism is the death of any kind of culture within a region. When there is no monoculture, you're usually going to have a bunch of people running around that have nothing in common with each other. And at the end of the day, you have people that just kind of collect together in their own little pockets of people, and there's no social cohesion. Without social cohesion, like I said, all you have is like a squatter's camp. It's not a nation. It's not a country. So shout out to Italy for making this change to, deport and really crack down on the illegal immigration coming from the third world. Hopefully what's next is cracking down on the free travel through the Schengen zone and stuff like that, because that is also a big problem, because people that come so-called legally, they are also committing a lot of problems. A lot of these people that have committed these terror attacks have passports and everything else. So you got to crack down on that as well. But I think this right here is a good start. So what do you think? Do you think it's a good step for Italy to take to crack down on a lot of the illegal immigration, cracking down on the borders, and also upping the deportations? Because at a certain point, something's got to be done. We all know it's a problem, but it's just a matter of what is a correct way to go about solving the problem. Or do you think that this thing will not be followed? Do you think they won't really go through with what they say they're going to do? Do you think that they need to do more? Or do you think that deporting people that are illegal is racist? Now, if that's your assertion, please explain to me how you can think that way. How is it that deporting somebody that is here or there illegally, how is that racist? If somebody violates the law, then why not enforce a law that says that if you're here illegally, then you must be deported? I think that makes common sense. If you don't respect someone's laws in their country, then that is what it is. That's your fault. It's not the country's fault that has the laws. It's the individual's fault that did not follow the laws to begin with. So whatever your comments are, let me know in the comments below. That's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.